Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. Beautiful fall morning outside, but we're going to be inside a good part of the day cooking, but it's for a good cause. Stick around. We'll get her done. We just got back from delivering a bunch of garden vegetables to somebody that finally wanted some, so they didn't go to waste. We got a freeze last night, so I went out last night when I got home and I picked everything that was even remotely close to being ripe, and it did get a good freeze last night, so I'm glad I did that. So we ran those in this morning. So what we're doing today is we're cooking a bunch of freezer meals. A friend of mine, his wife contracted West Nile virus about a month and a half ago, and she's been in the hospital 3 hours away from here, and he's been gone away from home this whole time with her, and they're finally coming home on Friday. So I'm going to put a bunch of freezer meals together where they don't have to worry about cooking supper for a couple weeks. They can just relax and care for her and make sure she's got everything she needs. So we're going to get things going on here. We're going to make several different recipes, but first I need to put away all of this stuff that we've been canning for the last couple days, get it down in the root cellar, so I got room to work. You can see all of our tomatoes we did this year. If you remember, that shelf was just about empty. We were able to completely restock that. So we're quite happy with the root cellar. We could be snowed in for 6 months and we'd still be good. Quite happy with the progress what we got down here. Lots and lots of food. Kelly's got a bunch freeze dried down here. We're pretty well set. All right, got some working room in the kitchen now. First thing I'm going to make is our world famous crowd pleasing lasagna. Most of these recipes are already on our channel if you visit the playlist, so I won't go step by step on all of them. Let's get it started. All right, now that that's done, while that's in the oven, we're going to put together some meatloaf, and that can go in the oven when the lasagna comes out. Gonna get some potatoes going. I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes to go with our meatloaf. Looks like we got supper too. Alright, we'll get all this cooled off. We're going to start on our next meal over here. We're going to use some of our canned turkey that we did. We're going to make our take on like a turkey dinner with some stuffing and some sweet potatoes. Let's get going. Alright, I got everything in the freezer that we made this morning. I need to go down and get some chicken out of the downstairs freezer for a dish I'm making tomorrow. Got our chicken in our pressure cooker. We're going to let it thaw a little bit so we can get it all in the pot, and then we'll get it going. I'm out of containers, so I'm at a standstill for now. Kelly's going to bring me some more home when she comes home from work. So I may do another dish tonight, or we may see you again in the morning. All right, folks, we are back. It's the next day. Kelly got me some more containers. So we're going to do 2 more dishes real quick. We're going to do a chicken soup with no noodles. And then we're going to do a stuffed pepper casserole. Sounds pretty yummy. Let's start with the chicken soup. So in our big heavy bottom Dutch oven, I got a 1/4 cup of good olive oil. To that, we're going to add some onions, carrots, and celery. You got about a cup of onion, cup of carrot, and about 1/2 cup of celery. Normally you do about equal parts, but our celery was grown in the heat of the summer, and like any kind of leafy green vegetable grown in the heat of the summer will be a lot more potent. So we're going to get this sizzling here, and we're going to sweat these vegetables down. Now this is the start of literally every soup. So if you know how to make soup, you can make soup out of anything, any leftovers in the fridge, and you can really make some phenomenal soup. So try to get your soup skills down, and you'll always be real happy in the winter. Got color on our veggies. It sweated them down real good. Got a real good smell to it right now too. So we're going to add about 4 cloves worth of garlic, and we'll get that going. And then we're going to throw some herbs in here too, just to wake those up a little bit, and some salt and pepper. All right, we did salt and pepper, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of parsley, the dry stuff from the garden. So that has woke up a little bit. So you remember that 1/4 cup of olive oil that we started with. We're going to go in with a 1/4 cup of flour now. Because we're not doing any noodles in this, we want it to be a little more hearty. So if you remember our Sauce 101 video, 1/4 cup fat, 1/4 cup flour, and 2 cups of liquid makes a good gravy. But we obviously don't want to be as thick as gravy. So instead of 2 cups of liquid, we're going to go with 4 cups of liquid. We're going to use a quart of our chicken stock, homemade stuff. So it'll be about half as thick as gravy with the math that we're doing here. So we've got all that flour coated. So now we're going to go in with the whole quart of chicken stock. And then we'll keep stirring this until it comes up to a simmer. And that'll thicken that soup really nicely. That cold stock brings everything off the bottom, all that brown bits. That's all really good flavor. The soup's going to be amazing. So once this comes up to a simmer and as thick as it's going to get, we're just going to turn it off. And you're going to ask, well, where's the chicken? Well, remember we cooked the chicken yesterday. It's pre-cooked. And I don't want to put the chicken in here and simmer it or anything because I don't want the chicken to come apart. I want it to stay in chunks. So after this cools down a little bit, we'll throw the chicken in there and it'll stay in chunks. And then when they reheat it, it'll heat everything back up. And it'll be a real good soup. You can see we're simmering. You can see how rich that soup is. It's just beautiful. So we're going to turn the fire off. We already gave it a taste for seasoning. It's just fantastic. Now if you're making soup, you can change anything you want up. You can put any kind of meat in here you want. You can use cream or milk instead of the chicken stock and make a more creamy soup. So if you've never tried making soup before, I highly recommend you try it. It's so good and it's so easy to put together. It goes together really fast. And the sky's the limit. You can change it up however you want. Got our chicken chopped up, ready to go in. We're using a good amount of chicken because we want this to be really hearty soup. So this is going to be set aside and let cool. We're going to start on our roasted pepper casserole. Okay, first thing we need to do is get some rice going. So we've got 2 cups of water. We'll get that boiling. So while we're waiting for our water to come up to a simmer, we've got about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in our skillet. We put about 3 bell peppers, which is right around 3 cups of peppers. We got them diced. You could also leave pepper halves for this dish and fill those and just do like stuffed peppers. But we're going to make a casserole, so we're going to get the fire going under this too. Our water's simmering, so in goes your rice. Always rinse your rice, because rice does not get cleaned on the way to your kitchen. It comes straight from the field, just like any other bean or anything else. All the dirt and the dust and everything of the harvest is all in there, so you want to get rid of it. Ask anybody you know of Asian descent and they would be horrified if you did not wash your rice. Give our rice a little stir. When it comes to a simmer, we'll put a lid on it. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Our chicken soup has cooled off enough. We can go ahead and throw our chicken in there. We'll give that a stir. Okay, our onions have cooked well. You can tell when they lose the pungent green smell, kind of like when you're cooking onions, how they stop smelling green on you. So we're going to go ahead and add 1/2 of a large white onion, and we'll sweat that out a little bit. We're also adding 1 pound of our good lean Nebraska ground beef. We'll get that chopped up in there. While our hamburger is browning, we're going to take a pint of beans and drain and rinse them. Use any beans you like, it doesn't matter. Okay, our hamburger's almost brown. We're going to add about 4 cloves or so of our garlic. Next thing going in is our beans. Now we're going to take a jar of our canned corn, either a pint or a can of corn from the store. We're going to drain and rinse that. Go ahead and put our corn in there. We'll get that stirred in. Smells so good. Now to our mixture, we're going to add a whole tablespoon of taco seasoning. And then we're also going to add a pint jar of our red taco sauce that we made. You can use any sauce you like. You can use salsa if you want. You could use a green sauce if you wanted. Any way you want to go. Okay, our rice is done. We're simmering this, cooking a little bit of the moisture out of it. Looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and kill the fire on this and stir in our rice. Alright, we got our oven preheating to 400. Got our rice stirred in. I could literally eat this just like this, but we're going to put it in the casserole dish and there's going to be cheese go on top of this. This dish is a step up from our 9x13. This is like a 10x15 Pyrex. And we've got it all lubricated with some olive oil. You can use cooking spray, doesn't matter. This whole mixture here goes into that dish. Okay, in the oven for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. Alright, we're back out of the oven after our 15 minutes. We have 1 pound of grated cheddar cheese. You can use any cheese you like. Pepper jack might be good on this, Monterey, whatever. So back in the oven just until this cheese is melty and bubbly. Casserole is done. So while we're waiting for this to cool, we can serve up our chicken soup. We had enough for 3 portions of our chicken soup. We've got the labels on already. We'll let this cool off just a bit more and we'll put it in the fridge. Our stuffed peppers were cooled off enough to where we could portion them out. We're going to let them cool a little bit more. We have enough left for supper for Kelly and I. Now he just texted this morning and said his wife's going to be doing home health for a couple weeks and he's not going to be able to leave home and come to breakfast for a while. because he needs to be there 24/7. So I've got 3 more containers, so I'm going to make him like breakfast for like 3 mornings. We'll go do like a little sausage scramble. So we're going to start out with some of our really good homemade breakfast sausage. We're going to add some peppers and some onions, and we're going to stir up a bunch of eggs, and we'll top it with some cheese. Pretty simple. Our sausage is brown, so we're going to throw in our frozen peppers and onions. They'll thaw out, and they won't take as long to cook because they've been frozen. The texture's already kind of broke down a little bit, so you don't have to sweat them as long. Alright, everything's cooked well. So we've got 9 eggs that we whipped up. Basically 3 3-egg omelets is what we're shooting for. So we'll get a little salt and pepper on that and let her cook. As it cooks, we just drag it from the side, let the egg roll down in there. Alright, we've got enough heat left in the skillet to finish these eggs off. So we'll get this done and we'll get it packaged up. There we go, folks, a little cheddar cheese on top. We don't have to go crazy trying to melt that because when he reheats these, that'll melt. So that is it. We got them all done. Well, we got him about 30 meals put together, and we'll get those delivered tonight. Now that Kelly's home, I'll run these down there. I don't have room in my freezer for everything, but he's got room in his freezer, and I have access to his house. So we'll get in there and get those stored for him. And when they're home in 2 days, they'll have some good food to eat. So just neighbors helping neighbors here in Nebraska. That's what we do. If you're within 20 miles, people call you neighbors. So hope you enjoyed coming along with us, and I hope you try some of these meals. They're really good. And if you want to do freezer meals, so meals are faster for your doing their week, a lot of these are really good to do to put in your freezer, and in a couple minutes you got supper. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at the farm.